start. The referee. They're gonna stop this. They're gonna stop.
Welcome to the mother relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this, the latest out of the women's lightweight division. A follow-up to a story that I've been touching on in passing here on the channel. Katie Taylor has officially relinquished her IBF title. In previous videos, I specified that I think Katie's all but done at lightweight, and I expect that she will start to vacate the titles she's held there in the coming year.
Yes.
And she's vacated the IBF title, so as a result of that, the IBF have gone ahead and ordered a fight between Carolyn Dubois and Rhiannon Dixon. A battle of the unbeatens, the unbeaten up-and-comers, the unbeaten Brits. But I'm not sure that the fight will take place. I'm not sure that the fight will happen. Carolyn, she's over there on Sky Sports and Boxer, whereas Rhiannon, she's over there on Matchroom and DAZN. In previous videos, we've talked about how Carolyn Dubois has been calling for that fight with Rhiannon. Well, before this order from the IBF came down, Carolyn has expressed an interest in facing Rhiannon in spite of being on different sides of the street. Rhiannon Dixon sports a professional record of 9 wins with no losses, no draws, 1 recorded knockout.
Trained by Anthony Crolla, and for what it's worth, Anthony's been doing a very good job with her. She's a good fighter.
This fight with Carolyn Dubois, I don't think it favors her. Rhiannon Dixon is a southpaw just like Carolyn Dubois, and many of the strengths that Rhiannon has are also strengths that Carolyn has. But Carolyn has what Rhiannon doesn't have, that amateur background, that amateur pedigree. That's saying that where Rhiannon Dixon is a good fighter, and she has a lot of good qualities, Carolyn has the same qualities and more. Where Rhiannon is fast and athletic, so is Carolyn. But Carolyn is a lot stronger. Where Rhiannon knows how to string together good combinations, good flurries, and a good right hook. Yeah, Carolyn Dubois can do all those same things and more, which is likely why Carolyn Dubois has been calling for this fight.
is she gonna get it?
Carolyn Dubois sports a professional record of 8 wins with no losses, no draws, 5 recorded knockouts. Rhiannon is 9-0, Carolyn is 8-0. But I'll tell you that as much as I like Rhiannon Dixon, I do not like her chances in this fight. I think Carolyn Dubois would overpower her and mess her up bad.
Real bad.
She's not fucking around. I don't know that Rhiannon Dixon and her team will decide to go ahead with this fight. I mean, it is for a world title. There is that added incentive. But there are the sides of the street to be addressed.
Yes.
Is this a fight that Rhiannon Dixon is going to cross over to Boxer and Sky Sports for, or are we going to see a haggling situation?
Let's say that Ben Shalom makes Rhiannon Dixon an offer to come over.
And let's say that Rhiannon Dixon and her team, for the risks she'd be taking on, they don't like the offer. They don't like the money. They want more. The two teams don't reach a deal, and a purse bid is ordered.
And you know the exact same thing could happen in reverse.
Maybe Matchroom makes Carolyn an offer, but Carolyn doesn't like the money for having to cross over to a rival promoter. Maybe she wants more, they don't reach a deal, and it goes to a purse bid. Previous instances like the Riakporhe versus Jai Opataya purse bid, or the Frazier Clark versus Flavio Wortley purse bid. What you saw was Ben Shalom electing to withdraw his fighters from those purse bids.
He did?
For fear they might end up going to Matchroom.
Could that happen here?
It's possible, because even if I do like Carolyn Dubois' chances against Rhiannon Dixon, if a haggling situation ensues and a purse bid rolls around, if history is any indicator of things to come, Ben will withdraw his fighter from such a situation if push comes to shove. That's what he's done in the past.
He pulled Richard Riakporhe out of the Jai Opataya purse bid, and he pulled Frazier Clark out of the Fabio Wortley purse bid.
Would he pull Carolyn out of this if a purse bid rolls around? Carolyn Dubois saw action 3 times last year. She's been busy, and Boxer's doing a good job with her, bringing her along. She seems to have a fight date on schedule against an opponent that has yet to be announced early next month, in February.
Do you think she could end up fighting Rhiannon on this kind of notice?
I'm not sure, and I'm not confident. February's right around the corner. We're already in the first week of January. That wouldn't really give either fighter all that much time to prepare.
And they need to, especially Rhiannon Dixon. This is a very dangerous fight.
Question is, will Rhiannon Dixon bite the bullet and decide to go to Sky Sports and Boxer to make the fight happen, or will it turn into a sides of the street situation, a haggling situation where a purse bid ensues and somebody walks away? Whoever does, they will forfeit their title shot, their world title opportunity.
For me, if the fight happens, it'll happen on Sky Sports and Boxer. It'll happen there if it happens, because it's not likely that Carolyn goes to Matchroom. It's not likely that Ben would send her over.
Ben's gonna want it on his side of the street. The question is, does Team Rhiannon Dixon want it?
Does she really need this right now? Because sides of the street politics aside, this is a very dangerous fight for her.
Rhiannon Dixon fought 3 times in 2022 and 2 times in 2023. They've been doing a good job with her, bringing her along and putting her in the right fights, allowing her to develop. But this is a very risky endeavor, even if it is for a newly vacated IBF title.
It's a good fight. It's a title fight. But I'm not confident that it happens. I'm not sure.
Because of all the moving parts, because of the sides of the street stuff, because it's a very dangerous fight for Rhiannon. Who's to say that Matchroom won't set it up to where maybe Rhiannon fights for another one of Katie's titles against another fighter she stands a better chance of beating? Because I like Rhiannon, but I don't think she wins this fight.
Nope.
If she were to walk away, the IBF would move down their ranks and perhaps order a fight between Carolyn and Serbia's Jelena Janicevic or Germany's Becky Bass. We'll see what happens, because my preliminary thoughts are, I don't know that this fight happens. I'm not confident. Men's lightweight news, Gervonta Davis's longtime trainer Calvin Ford has been arrested, jailed in Maryland, and awaits transfer to Nevada on alleged assault charges. Now, how does a man Calvin Ford's age, doing what he's doing, training Gervonta Davis and helping other young fighters, how does he find himself in a situation like this? Calvin Ford was arrested and jailed in Maryland ahead of a pending transfer to Nevada, where more serious charges await. The longtime trainer and staple of the Baltimore community was detained by city police on December 29th on a fugitive of justice charge stemming from an outstanding arrest warrant in Nevada. Ford was arrested upon exiting his Upton boxing gym and was since committed to a Baltimore jail, where he remains in custody without bail. According to a report from the Baltimore Banner, Ford, 58, almost 60, is wanted in the state of Nevada on 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. The alleged incident in question took place in Las Vegas, after which point local authorities executed an arrest warrant on October 16th.
What's a man Calvin Ford's age doing all wrapped up in a situation like this?
This ain't the kind of thing that's inevitable. This is the byproduct of the person you are underneath it all, what you're up to, what you're doing, and the company you keep. It doesn't happen on its own. BoxingScene.com was unable to verify the exact allegations, as such records are in the possession of Nevada authorities and are not yet available through their online database. Kenny Ellis, Ford's longtime associate and co-trainer of the gym, insisted during New Year's Eve interview with YouTube boxing personality Fanon that he was aware of the allegations and vehemently denied the incident in question. Ellis also puts himself in that exact place alongside Ford and insisted several witnesses can similarly refute what they regard as baseless charges.
So this is all what, a case of mistaken identity?
When you report something to the police, it's like reporting something to boxing media, Ellis explained. When you report to them, they write, then they put out a warrant before they really investigate. I can wake up in the morning and say, Fanon did this to me.
Kenny Ellis arguing Calvin Ford's innocence. The charges levied against him are serious: assault and
being in possession of a deadly weapon. Kenny Ellis continued, I can wake up in the morning and say, Fanon did this to me, and they're going to put out a warrant out on you, whether it's true or false. We did business with a couple. Police picked up on some false accusations that someone accused him of doing. It was assault with a deadly weapon on 2 people. The question is, if that happened and I was with Calvin, why am I not locked up? If something went down that serious, you know the code. We ride together.
It's a rhetorical question that Kenny is asking. Kenny is asking, why is he not arrested? Well, maybe you're not the one that assaulted him. Maybe you're not the one that was brandishing a firearm or whatever deadly weapon is in question.
If it's the way that Kenny Ellis says it is, and this is all baseless, it's all untrue, what the hell is Calvin Ford doing, and what company is he in that someone would want to have him arrested? Why would they feel so inclined to falsely accuse him if these accusations are in fact false? This is a 58-year-old man.
This doesn't just happen by accident. You don't just end up in a situation like this one. Gervonta Davis has not directly commented on the situation. Ellis remains confident that the charges will eventually be dropped, though not likely until after Ford is transferred to Nevada authorities. He's been falsely accused, and the truth will rise to the top, Ellis insisted. For Gervonta Davis' sake, let's hope that it does. And it does in a timely fashion, because what the people at the PBC want to do, rumor has it, they want to get him out in March. They want him to be the one that kicks off the newly inked Amazon deal. If Calvin Ford is all tied up with this situation, I'm going to assume that Kenny Ellis will stand in as the assistant coach and take the reins, take control, and prepare Gervonta for his next fight.
Could come against Isaac Cruz, who's currently ranked at #1 via the WBA's lightweight rank standings. Gervonta Davis was recently elevated from secondary champion to full champion as a result of Devin Haney, this division's former undisputed champion, moving up in weight and subsequently vacating all of his alphabet titles, what Gervonta Davis's team has been waiting for all along. They never wanted to challenge Loma for the belt, or Lopez after him, or Cambosos or Devin. What they wanted was for the title to one day go vacant so they wouldn't have to fight anybody for it.
And they didn't.
For all the hullabaloo you hear about Gervonta Davis being the biggest name anywhere at or around these weights, he never actually made an offer to any of those fighters for a fight. He doesn't appear to be accepting any offers for a fight, meaning all along this is what they wanted. They wanted to be elevated to this position without a fight, without having to go through anyone.
Isaac Cruz is ranked at #1, and we know in previous instances Calvin Ford has expressed some interest in Gervonta Davis running it back with Isaac, even though he already beat him.
Because he's ranked at #1, the WBA might so decide in the coming weeks and months to order a fight between the newly crowned WBA champion Gervonta Davis and his old adversary, the #1 ranked Isaac Cruz, for a fight that nobody's asking for, which would likely be billed as a pay-per-view.
And who's gonna buy it? Gervonta Davis's fans have been telling every man, woman, and his dog about the 1.3 million pay-per-views he sold opposite the ring Ryan Garcia, but Isaac is not Ryan Garcia. You're not selling 1.3 million with him.
I don't think he's going to sell 500,000 pay-per-view buys with him, as there is no grassroots demand. No one is asking him for this fight. If he goes ahead with it, there's going to be a sharp decline.
His longtime trainer Calvin Ford has been arrested, and if he fights Isaac, his pay-per-view buys, they're gonna nosedive. It's not looking good.
For all the excuses his fans online like to make for them, none of that is going to move the needle.
It's not going to help Calvin, and it's not going to sell that fight.
Just in keeping with the theme of news at or around these weights, Oscar De La Hoya has stated that he is targeting Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia for March in Las Vegas. That's the next fight that we want to make. I think that fight can easily be made. And it's all been sounding very encouraging as it pertains to Devin and Ryan making a fight with each other. It would seem like a missed opportunity for reigning WBA champion Rolly Romero. Ryan wanted to fight him before it became about Devin.
Rolly isn't worth very much by himself. He only has value if he adds value in addition to. Ryan and Rolly could have been a decent-sized fight.
But Rolly by himself, he's not worth very much, even with a belt. And because O'Hara Davies and Ishmael Barroso are fighting this weekend in order to become his mandatory challenger, to take that belt from him, if Ryan ends up fighting Devin,
Rolly's out in the cold. Rolly gets stuck fighting the winner of Ishmael Barroso versus O'Hara Davies, and the winner of that fight, whoever it is, well, they won't get you the same buzz and the same profile, the same money, that Ryan would have got you.
In truth, Rolly's been on the hook for a while. O'Hara Davies didn't all of a sudden become his mandatory challenger. He was already his mandatory challenger before this year started, and Rolly was already set to satisfy him as his mandatory challenger, but he reportedly suffered a quote-unquote injury.
A manufactured injury. What I think is all bullshit.
Him even being a champion is a joke that isn't funny, though his reign may end up being short-lived. In any event, things are supposed to be looking encouraging for a Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia fight in March. When it comes to that fight, I struggle to think they'll be able to put it together in that kind of time. March is right around the corner, you know. It's only a little over 2 months away. Are they really going to put Ryan in the ring with Devin Haney? Because if they do, he's going to lose.
A separate matter.
Irrespective of Rolly Romero's missed opportunity, and whatever ends up happening to him and his WBA title, as it pertains to Ryan and Devin. Ryan has only had one fight since being knocked out by Gervonta Davis. He's only had one fight with Derek James in his corner, and it is a little hard to believe that having only fought once after being knocked out, he's going to be thrust back into the fire with Devin Haney.
They're both young guys, but Devin is a lot more experienced as a professional, a lot more seasoned, having shared the ring with Jorge Linares and Jojo Diaz and Vasil Lomachenko against George Kambosos.
Regis Prograis in his last fight compared to Ryan. When it comes to Ryan, the best fighter he's fought, the very best guy he's fought, is the guy that beat him, Gervonta Davis, 2 fights ago. Outside of that, Ryan doesn't have much of a resume.
And he's still raw. Even though he's been around a while, he's got some tools. He's got speed, he's got power.
But he's also got some drawbacks. He can't judge distance as well as Devin Haney can. He's not as coordinated.
I don't like his feet.
Nope.
I don't like his movement. You saw him in his last fight trying to experiment with the Philly shell.
It was pretty fucking awkward. That was pretty fucking awful. And they're going to put him in there with Devin Haney in his very next fight. According to Oscar De La Hoya, that's what they're trying to do.
They're serious. I mean, I don't know what they'd get lying about something like that.
So I guess we have to take them at their word that the effort is earnest and they really are trying to make this fight. Though if they do, it's the Golden Boy Promotions fighter that's going to lose. It's the Golden Boy Promotions guy that may suffer his next loss. And this is the fight that Oscar wants to make.
Well, all right.
For Devin, the fight with Ryan will have more of a profile than the fight that he just had with Regis Prograis. This fight with Ryan, if they make it, will sell more at the box office than that fight did. Even though Ryan's not actually as good a fighter or as experienced as Regis Prograis, and he's not a champion like Regis Prograis was, this fight will still have more of a profile than that fight did. So let's see if they make it.
And if they do, I think Devin beats him. I think Devin beats him easy.
I don't think there's anything Ryan Garcia does better than Devin Haney. Even if I do think he's a little bit stronger, his power doesn't matter if you can't land. And Ryan can't judge distance as well as Devin Haney can. Devin can neutralize his power with well-placed jabs.
Take away Ryan's speed with timing.
Devin's got more ring savvy. Ryan Garcia. Ryan don't win that fight.